Alright guys, week 61 of the DVD Fiends. Today I'm going to be reviewing Blood Feast 2. This was made in 2002. It's a sequel to the 1963 original Blood Feast. Very long awaited, a couple of decades, a few decades. It's directed by the godfather of gore, Hershell Gordon Lewis, produced by Jackie Lee Morgan and written by W. Boyd Ford. Cast: J.P. Delahoussaye is Fawad Ramses III. Mark McConnell is a detective. John McConnell, Mark McLaughlin is another detective. And the cult director John Waters also stars in this film. What's funny is the detectives in this film are called Detectives Loomis and Myers, so that's a little nod to the Halloween films. And it starts off the film. Fawad Ramses III is opening his old granddad's old catering business, and he makes out that he doesn't know nothing about what his granddad Fawad Ramses, the original Fawad Ramses, did in the first film, and he goes and opens the old shop, and then Detective Myers comes in and says, "What are you doing in here? Do you know what happened?" And hassles him a little bit. And these two detectives, Myers and Loomis, are really goofy idiots. Well, Detective Loomis, every shot that he's in the film is eating, which is really funny. It's a horror comedy, by the way, I forgot to say that. So he hassles him, and then Fawad Ramses III gets rid of him, and he's opening the shop up. And then he managed to get into a back room, and there's a big statue of the Babylonian goddess, Ashish or something like that, some name like that, Isis, and the statue, it doesn't possess people, it hypnotizes them, and the eyes glow up on the statue, and it hypnotizes Fawad Ramses to start doing what his granddad did years back. So he comes out of the back room, and a family come in, and they want him to do the catering for their daughter's wedding. So he agrees to do it, and the mother's really pushy. She says, "Make sure your work's top notch, or she won't be getting the job, and I want to test some food before we sign any contracts or whatever." So they go about the business. So then Fawad Ramses has to get this buffet and these meals ready for this wedding in a few days' time. So he goes around killing people, really. The first woman he gets, she's at the bridal shower for the girl's wedding, and she's walking home late at night, and he kidnaps her, and he takes her into the catering business, takes her into the back where the goddess statue is, and she's tied up, and he's like, "Oh, don't struggle, let's talk," and all this, and then he gouges her eyes out, cuts her tongue off, slashes her in the stomach, and pulls her insides out. You see everything. Oh my god, the gore effects were brilliant in this, really brilliant. Also very funny because it's comedic, but the gore effects were just unbelievable. The godfather of gore, Hershell Gordon Lewis. That's why he's called it, because he is the godfather of gore. So yeah, he kills her, and he makes some sort of finger food and stuff like that out of her. So that's the first one. He needs more people, so he starts picking the bridal shower off one by one. He ends up killing, through the film, he ends up killing all the bride's friends, and she's got no friends left at the end of the film anyway. And it's just so gory. It shows you him pulling eyes out and taking tongues out. He also gets an electrical meat knife, and when he's got this girl tied up, he cuts her at the back of the neck with it, and he pulls the skin all the way off, so you can just see the muscle on top of the skull and the eyes and the tongue, and she's still screaming when he's pulled it over, so you can just see this like skeleton type head screaming. And then he cuts her brain, he cuts her skull with his electrical knife, pops the skull out, pops the top of the skull off and takes the brain out, and it shows you everything. So he kills her. There's some really nice looking ladies in this. You see a lot of tits and ass. He gets another one that's got a really nice body. He sneaks up in her house while she's had after she's had a shower, and gets her, and he cuts her up, he takes her eyes out, cuts her tongue off. You see a lot of gouging in stomachs and ripping insides out, cutting arms off. He puts a lady's hand in a mincer and pushes her hand down till it just minces all her arm. And these two detectives are just bumbling around. One of them, Detective Myers, is on the case to start with, and he's giving Ford Ramsey's proper hassle, and he says, right, we want to search these premises. So they end up searching the premises the next day for some reason, because Ford Ramsey's has got bodies in back. He went, oh, can you just come back tomorrow? And oh yeah, alright, you can have some food if you come back tomorrow. And they just have some food and then come back tomorrow, so he's got a chance to clean up. So they come back and they search the place, and they go in the back and there's a dead body there, and they're that dumb they just step over it. And so they go in this room, and the Greek goddess, the Babylonian goddess, hypnotises Detective Myers. So then he becomes all pally with Ford Ramsey's and leaves him alone, so he just carries on killing people because now he hasn't got nobody on his case. Eventually Detective Loomis, who's eating all the way through the film, starts suspecting things, and he gets on the case to it, and the film unravels from there. But I really enjoyed it. It's low budget, but I really enjoyed it. It was very good. It kept me entertained, very funny, and very, very gory. I would definitely recommend this. I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. Is there much else I can say? Yeah, John Waters, he featured Hershell Gordon Lewis in one of his books, and he interviewed him and asked him if he'd like to get back into filmmaking, and he said, yeah, I would. So when Hershell Gordon Lewis made this film, he decided to get John Waters in as the paedophile priest, and his character's very funny in this. He's the priest that's marrying this couple, and he's very funny. So anything else? Yeah, there was an unofficial sequel to this, Blood Diner. It's very, very similar to this. I've also got Blood Diner, but I really enjoyed it. Yeah, Hershell Gordon Lewis back on top form, I think. So thanks guys, and look out for me in week 62.